Hello and welcome to the Geek on My Sleeve channel. Today we are going to be doing a TBR, to be read, read along, sing a song, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Roll the intro. And for the month of September, we are going to be doing Regicide, Book 2 in the Completionist Chronicles. That is September 6th. September 13th will be Dune, first book of Dune. September 20th is Dungeon Lord Otherworldly Powers, The Wraith's Haunt, Book 2. And then for September 27th, we are going to be doing Oathbringer, which is the third book in the Stormlight Archive, which is in preparation for the fourth book, Rhythm of War, scheduled to come out in November. And now, kind of a breakdown synopsis of each of the books, why we included them in the TBR for September. For Regicide, it is technically Completionist Chronicles Book 2 by Dakota Kraut, and it is kind of like a continuation of the Divine Dungeon series, but is a great standalone, is a lit RPG, as we all know I'm a big fan of. And oh man, just more Easter eggs. And the best thing I can say without destroying it or spoiling it is throughout the Divine Dungeon series, the final book, there's a character that we've grown to love, the barbarian Tom, and there's a lot of promises that are kind of made throughout it that didn't really come to be, but then in this continuation separate series that Dakota does, it's really embracing a lot of that. And that's where it's I enjoy it because of the lit RPG aspects. I enjoy it because of kind of the continuation, alteration of the world we knew and loved. I enjoy it because of all the little Easter eggs where there are connecting or similar things happening throughout it. But all in all, it's just a great series, and we'll be completing that one.
And not to mention just how much fun it is to follow Joe and continue all of Dakota Kraut's great puns and dad jokes. So Pete's super excited because we don't have just one, but we have two lit RPGs in our lineup for our upcoming Geek Outs slash live book discussions. And as much as I am a lit RPG fan, I am personally excited to finally get Pete to read Dune by Frank Herbert. So, if you've been living under a rock, Dune is considered a classic in the sci fi realm. Um, Frank Herbert is considered one of the fathers of science fiction. Um, I should have pulled up the wiki, but it's so many amazing authors, film writers, including Star Wars, including Brandon Sanderson, have drawn inspiration from the Dune series, and we are covering it September 13th. Super excited to be doing this geek out with Pete. Dune is one of the series that I come back to and listen to once every 6 months because it is just truly an incredible series. I'll admit the first time I read it, it took a little bit for me to get into, but if you just hold out and get past that first quarter of the book, you'll be immersed in this incredible post-apocalyptic sci-fi era um, that is just phenomenal. Yeah, enough said.
So for September 20th, is Dungeon Lord, Otherworldly Powers, The Wraith's Haunt, Book 2 by Hugo Huesca. And so, without saying too much, like, this book is a dark fantasy. We've already done the first one, we're getting into the second one, and it's kind of unique from the perspective because normally, like, you go to another world and you're the good guy. And so it's refreshing in the fact that you go to the other world and, you're perceived as the bad guy. And then this series, now that they have at least gotten to the fourth one, is one that I would stack up against Brandon Sanderson's Era 1 Mistborn due to the complexity and the subtle things that happen that don't really have a whole lot of value. But then once we get through the series, there's a lot of rereadability and extra additions. So for me, it's going to be one of my, favorites for just development.
That's a pretty strong endorsement, especially considering the fact that we've been full disclosure on being Brandon Sanderson fanboys through and through. So the fact that you would put Dungeon Lord up there with Brandon Sanderson says a lot about the series. We're only on book 2. We're slowly working our way through. So if you want to pick it up right along, geek out with us. That was Dungeon Lord for September 20th. And then for September 27th, Oathbringer, The Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. One of our favorite um, high fantasy, epic fantasy ongoing series. We've been having a lot of fun rereading this, one book a month up until the release of Rhythm of War. And yeah, um, not wait to cover this book and get into some theory crafting on what's coming up for book 4 and doing a bit more theory crafting after book 4 comes out, Rhythm of War. We'll also be covering that the last Sunday in November.
The Stormlight Archive, book 1 and 2 are very much developmental for getting you involved in the world and for the characters and really developing like all the struggles they have gone through and their kind of moral compass. Book 3 is like opening Pandora's box. It is very much a, before it was like oh maybe, or that doesn't affect me, or that, I don't believe it, that's not real, where book 3 is like, well dang, now how do we deal with this?
The party started, everything's in full swing, and it's just an incredible story. We've already let everybody know that we're full Brandon Sanderson fanboys. The world building's incredible. The character development is incredible. We constantly pull out little nuggets and life lessons from the books we read, and there's just so much in the Stormlight Archive. Super excited to get the next installment in the series. Uh, Journey Before Destination, My Fellow Knights Radiance. And those are the 4 books we have lined up for the month of September. Always looking for new suggestions. If you think there's a series we should seriously look into, to add to our list for um, November.
Or just if there's a series that you enjoy, we're, fairly active on Discord, and depending on everything currently, our plan is to kind of like finish out the series, kind of like what we're doing with Oathbringer. That way we can prep for new releases. There's a lot of authors that have, serious time discrepancies between them, but kind of like Dune, it's a classic, and so we're going back for it. We're depending on the community development, we might even dedicate a whole slot to community pick, because like all of these are, for us, like I am a huge fan, except for I haven't started Dune. Like I'm a huge fan of everything that we got going on here, and I'd like people to talk to. So if there's something, hit us up on Discord, put it in the comments below, and more than welcome to join us Sunday. I know life and schedules is complicated. So far, Sunday is the only day that works for us. Possibly flex timing for earlier or later due to international or life.
And also going to throw this out there. I said November, but we also have October coming up, and we're putting out feelers on if people would be interested in doing a dedicated geek out for some theory crafting for the Stormlight Archive. We scaling up, giving everybody a chance to get current for Rhythm of War. So just throwing it out there. Let us know on Discord if you want to do some theory crafting for the series, where everyone falls on that. And yeah, hope to geek out with you guys here soon.